Hi, you. Welcome back to your favorite podcast, your favorite show. This is Mars Day with Mark, episode 128. So I hope you're great. I set the intention that this video really speaks to the collective heart, and I hope it hit home. Hope
Oh
so.
my God, bro.
Hell no, man. What the
I
fuck,
hope this
man?
hits home with you. No redo. I want to show you guys, man. In life, you don't necessarily get any edits. So you're gonna get the stumbling, the muttering, the yeah. This Mercury retrograde got some hands, man. If you're new to this show, if you don't know my style, I want to say welcome, first of all, to the Fire family. It's Mr. Meyer with the Fire here to take the collective vibe higher, and we're talking astrology today. We're talking about the week of November 25th until December 2nd. Be careful on the roads, y'all. I know a lot of people are traveling for this holiday season. Happy Thanksgiving. Hey, I challenge you to turn Thanksgiving into every day. And I don't mean, become a glutton and eat yourself sick to the point where you gotta unbuckle your pants and take an afternoon nap. But to each their own. If that sounds like fun for you, go ahead. But I mean, just say, guys, if we count our blessings, we'll probably become more blessed. That's my hypothesis, is that gratitude is an attitude that opens us up to receive. Sometimes we can get so wrapped up in the journey and the future and what we're doing, we can forget about the dream we're living. Like just being alive is such a gift. Like this was the whole point. But anyway, if you don't know my style, we're going to walk through the degrees of the week. I'm going to show you two different charts. We're going to walk through it. I'm going to prepare you guys for the week. And it's going to be a great week. You heard it here first, folks. Today is a great day and it's a great week. So, happy birthday to the Sagittarius people. The sun is at 4 degrees of Sagittarius. We're 4 days in. Y'all are going to be celebrating your birthdays. We're going to talk about this in a second. The moon right now is waxing in Aquarius. We've got the planet Mercury retrograde for a couple more days, guys. Mercury's retro in Scorpio, about 21. Venus is at 24 Scorpio. Mars is at 15 Sagittarius. You've got Jupiter retrograde at 24 degrees of Cancer. Saturn is retrograde at 25 Pisces. Uranus is also retrograde. And don't fear the retrogrades, guys. These are not inside of your control, and these happen all the time, too. Honestly, there's nothing really good or bad about a retrograde or most things in astrology, but that doesn't sound very sensationalized, right? Nobody wants to hear that shit. People want to hear Mark say, oh my God, this is the best transit in the world. And I'm going to tell you why it is, okay? Anyway, but before that, let's get to the degrees. You're going to see Uranus at 29 Taurus, retrograde. Michael Jackson moonwalking backwards across the sky. Same thing with Neptune, 29 Pisces in a retrograde. And then you've got Pluto direct. Pluto says, what the fuck are y'all going backwards for, man? The north node of the moon is at 14 degrees of Pisces, which puts the south node at 14 Virgo. So this is the chart of December 2nd, guys. This is where we're going to round up the week and where you're going to see episode 129. So if you are not yet subscribed, please do that. Please do that. It makes me so happy to watch the number jump up because, while that's a number on the screen, and right now for timestamp purposes, we're at about 5,060 subscribers. Beyond a number, I know that's legit people. Like, holy shit, bro. Imagine 5,000 people digging in your ass or trying to dig in your ass. I lost a lot of y'all. You clicked off the video. You said, oh shit, I have my kids in the room, dude. Imagine 5,000 people trying to jump you, man. Imagine 5,000 people giving you a compliment. Like, it's crazy, man, because in social media, you can get wrapped up into the numbers and forget, like, that's a lot of people. You can get 10 likes on a video nowadays and kind of think that that's nothing because I got way off track. We're supposed to talk about degrees. But anyway, you could say, hey, thanks for subscribing. That's all I'm trying to say. You could get way off track thinking about, what the fuck? Okay, anyway, never mind. The sun is going to be at 11 degrees of Sagittarius at the end of the week. So get excited, guys. It's a beautiful Sag week. The moon is going to be waxing still. It'll end up somewhere around Taurus. So this is a waxing week as we prepare for the full moon in Gemini. The full moon in Gemini. Mercury goes direct this week, guys. We will survive the Mercury retrograde. Yes, we will. It's going to end on the 29th. And then, we still have that post shadow. Mercury's got to get his ass on and play catch up a little bit. All right, we got Venus making an ingress this week into the sign of Sagittarius. I can't wait. We got Mars moving up about 5 degrees to about 20. You've got Jupiter moving back to 24. Saturn goes direct this week, guys. Saturn's kind of at a standstill right now, but it's reversing its direction. Uranus backs up to 2857. Neptune is still at 29. Pluto's still at 1. It's creeping up on 2. Oh, will. And then the North Node moves back 1 degree. So let's take it step by step by step. The first thing to really understand, my friend, is that in interest of the sun, the season, the spirit of Sagittarius, you and I, we create our lives. Astrology is a beautiful, soft, and hard science, but don't get deluded into thinking that these planets have to give you a permission slip or that you have to look at them for your sense of guidance and direction. And I think this is really the word that my heart says apropos. Is that a real word? What the fuck does that mean? I think it's on brand. I got ADHD like a motherfucker, man. Apropos. With reference to or concerning. Anyway. Shit, bruh. Anyway, I think that's very reminiscent, reflective of the energy of Sagittarius because Sagittarius means adventure. It means travel. All right. This means the big picture. You hear me? So a lot of us are going to be traveling for the holidays and seeing relatives, in-laws, etc. Sagittarius is the philosopher and the seeker. And I pray Sagittarius is the finder. So you seek, so you shall find, ask, and you shall receive. Sagittarius is a very beautiful energy because it's vast, it's expansive, it's optimistic. At worst, this sign is a little bit arrogant and reckless. But I do love how this seems to expand our sense of self and our sense of meaning. You have new questions that you ask yourself in Sagittarius. And also kind of has this restless energy, this optimistic energy, this desire to go out and see what life has to offer. So we made it through Scorpio season, Fire Family. And that means success. That means, oh yes, we're shifting from water to fire. We lit today, man. And I'm super excited because we're turning every day into Thanksgiving. We're waking up, we're counting our blessings, we're starting with gratitude. Did you know you can't feel grateful and fearful at the same time? Or grateful and angry at the same time. And fear and anger, these are natural emotions. They're valid, but they can be quote unquote destructive. Sometimes you got to destroy shit in order to create things. And I think that's kind of interesting because in interest of the sun, the sun and Mars are going to be closing their distance over the next month or so. So this is a little higher time frame transit, but I wanted to speak on it because I'm seeing it. Is that the sun and Mars in Capricorn season are going to make a connection. And that's really the new year. But what does that mean? That means that this is about taking charge of your life. The sun is your life. And if you're not tracking that, imagine if the sun was gone, right? There would be no life. So that's why I say that. So this is about the human spirit and our quest for growth and exploration. And Mars is all about intention and power and energy and choice. So you put those energies together, and I'm talking like, guys, for the next couple months, the rest of this month, all of December, and then like the first week of January, you're going to see this conjunction. And this energy is still going to linger, this Mars Sun conjunction. I mean, and some astrologers would say Mars and the Sun aren't conjunct, but if you look in my book, you've got Mars like 9 degrees ahead of the Sun. So, for all practical purposes, I call that a Sun Mars conjunction. This is my way or the highway. This is like the end of the year kind of having an Aries energy. And I say that because Mars rules over Aries. And what does that mean? Charge head first, put your dick in the dirt. It said, sir, I don't have a dick, but get after it. That's all I'm trying to say. Get after it. Be intentional with everything and see if your intentions manifest. Put it to the test. You like that? I like that. I think it's a beautiful thing. Mars in the sun does give a reckless energy. It gives an aggressive energy. And I was listening to a book on Audible the other day, guys. I think, let me pull up the title just in case anyone was curious. The book is called To Be a Man by Robert Augustus Masters, PhD, True Guide to Masculine Power. But he was basically saying that there's a difference between anger and aggression. Like, anger is an emotion that we all feel. It can be hot and red, but aggression is directed at other people and it is destructive and meant to tear something down. You can be angry without aggression. So that's just something to think about as we go through the end of this year. So, empathy. Empathy is a great way to temper your anger and not bring it into aggression. Because sometimes you still got to draw the line or set a boundary or assert yourself. So, anyway, I'm excited, guys, because this Sun Mars gives an intensity to life. And I know that Scorpio has its own depth and darkness, and it's pretty cool because we made it through. We went through this rebirth. We had a whole Scorpio stellium not too long ago, guys. We had the sun, Mercury, the moon, Venus, Mars, Lilith in Scorpio not too long ago, fam. So these last weeks to maybe about a month have been kind of difficult for a lot of us in terms of shedding old skin, letting go of people, places, things, death and rebirth, grief, sorrow, transcendence, death again. Oh my goodness, fam. The fact that we're still here is worth celebration. Celebration. Man, I love making this podcast. It's crazy to think we've been doing this for 128 weeks. Wow. That's like halfway to 256, right? Damn. Damn. Okay. Okay, shit. I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay. So basically, not only is the sun in Sagittarius and Mars in Sagittarius, we get Venus switching over this week. Lilith is almost done with Scorpio as well. And then the Mercury retrograde is going to end. So there's a couple of things to really pack down this week. Is that the sun and Mars, number one, are going to be going hard. Jupiter rules over the sun. Jupiter in Cancer. This is a year-long transit. You know, right now Jupiter is in its retrograde cycle. So I'm going to touch on this first just because this does relate to the sun, my friend. And this whole year with Jupiter in Cancer is about expanding our sense of security. Big things are happening in the home. Our intuition is developing and growing across the board. I mean, collectively. If you want to get more insight into this, watch where Jupiter transits your chart and watch your moon and know that your feelings, or some might say intuition, guides you. Connection is direction. And when you listen to your heart, this is the irony, is that, you know, you can really surrender to a greater flow, a greater mind. But at the same time, you know, the body, and I think it's the environment's program on the body kind of teaches us to be hyper focused and vigilant and not let our guard down because of fear. But what I've been seeing over this year with Jupiter and Cancer is that by trusting that flow, you can actually speed up by slowing down a little bit. By trust falling into this universe, you know, you can find higher ways to pursue your goals and really connect with the emotions that you want to experience. And this has been in the forefront of my mind for a hot minute. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard concepts like this before, but what we are trying to manifest is a feeling. And life really is an emotional experience. So a lot of people put the cart before the horse and say, oh, when I'm successful, I'll feel good. Or when I get a bunch of money, I'll feel rich. Or when I have a relationship, I'll feel loved. And I think that's bullshit. You know, I used to do that. And I catch myself every now and then putting the cart before the horse. And it's not to say that, you know, your emotions are the only component to life, because that's just one tool on the magician's altar. That's the cup. And there is, moderation required in life. At the very best, this is synchronizing with the divine rhythm, getting more done while doing less. But at worst, Jupiter Cancer, this exalted placement is about choosing comfort as opposed to growth and slowing yourself down or just staying in the past. And that might not be what we want. So that's just something to think about. I'm careful as I do these videos lately that I don't put too much of my personal biases on this because we're all going to relate to it differently. But I see Jupiter Cancer as a happy baby, and life is good. Life is good. Okay. So Moon energy this week. Moon is waxing. Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off. So we're gaining momentum towards our goals. Energy is filling up in our cup, and we're getting ready for the full moon in Gemini, which is really going to be next week. So this week, the moon is going to cross through Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, and Taurus. So the planets it's going to pass over. I mean, first one is really not a planet, is the North Node. We've got Saturn, we've got Neptune, and we've got Chiron. So what I'm seeing this week is that this week's energy is going to connect us with our sense of purpose. That's the North Node, our sense of meaning, our sense of responsibility, Saturn. And let's take it day by day, shall we? Shall we? I think we shall. So we got the moon in Aquarius, Tuesday and Wednesday, and a little bit of Thursday. So that's about being one with the world, getting connected with your friends, your community. And then Thursday, you got your moon sliding into Pisces. So that's Thanksgiving, right? And there's going to be a very transcendent and emotional energy kind of coloring Thanksgiving. The moon and the sun are going to be square during Thanksgiving, okay, for a big part of it. And that's just going to say that there is going to be some tension in the atmosphere and probably a pretty exciting Thanksgiving across the board. A lot's going to happen, whether you're kicking it with your family or by yourself. This is the quarter moon, which brings up the need for adjustment. Okay. And also, it kind of creates this hypersensitivity in general. But anyway, you've got the moon crossing over the North Node on Friday, which really is going to bring us more into our sense of purpose, direction. You'll be thinking about your future. You might kind of have a restlessness towards your desire and what you want. And a lot of people will be traveling this week too. So, in the midst of moving around and going from point A to point B, there is going to be a lot of thinking as we're moving around, and that's beautiful. So Saturday is where there's going to be a lot of action in the planets. Friday night to Saturday night, you'll have the moon cross over Saturn, Neptune, and that's going to really connect us with a more somber and transcendent way of looking at life. You create this life, and this week does have a little more of a serious overtone. I should say undertone with the moon, an undertone as far as this weekend goes. And then, Sunday, Monday, I would really call this Monday. The moon is going to be crossing over Chiron, the healer, on Monday too. So, you know, emotional wounds are going to be addressed this week as well, especially regarding identity, sense of self, self concept, self image, your relationship with purpose, all that Aries energy. And like I mentioned, guys, we're literally having the sun and Mars traveling together. And over the next month or so, they're going to close their distance. So there is this fire, no pun intended, fire family. There is this fire being lit under all of us in our cauldron. And it starts kind of slow and things start to heat up. And I'm telling you, man, pay attention to what you're doing in your life and be intentional because over the next multiple weeks to a month plus, this cauldron's going to start bubbling over. So you really are going to want to be planting your seeds with intention and doing things with virtue as opposed to vice. Okay. You create your life. So at a certain point in each and every one of our lives, we have to admit to ourselves that the scared, lesser, fearful, inferior, lazy, recalcitrant, little buster ass, jabroni ass, little bitty bitch version of ourselves can't really be fit to rule our destiny. Huh? You know that's right. So, hey, it's time to level up. It's time to level up. Hey, if you're listening to this right now, you're in the middle of it. And I salute you, fam. Y'all see the new tattoo I got today? I got the second skin on it too. But I digress. The sun was conjunct my Pluto, or it's going to be tomorrow, and I just felt like, man, it's time for change. It's time to level up. It's time to commemorate the change. But anyway, let's talk about a few other planets. That's the sun, that's the moon. This week, Mercury retrograde ends on the 29th, Saturday. So, hey, man, when Mercury is retro, this is an opportunity to shift your mind, to slow down and get right, to organize. And really, with this one transiting back into Scorpio, it's a lot deeper than meets the eye. Things are bubbling over from the past already, fam. And there's nothing wrong with that. The weekend is really where the action happens, Fire Family. Beyond the holidays, the weekend, man. He's a good singer. The weekend is where the shit is going down, man. You've got Mercury stationing on Saturday. So Sunday, Mercury's going to be full speed ahead, direct. And then we're going to cover that lost ground. Mercury and Scorpio, let me tell you guys, this is deep thoughts and penetrating insight. And sometimes it can be, a challenging mind is the best way I could say it, where your own thoughts might kind of have their own intensity and charge to them. And that can be very volatile, empowering on one side, but, you know, negative as fuck on the other side, cruel in conversations too. And, be careful with what you say. And when you communicate this week, Fire Family, I really encourage you to ask yourself, what's my outcome here? What's my outcome? And you can ask this in any part of your life, and it will help you out if you get in the habit of asking, what's my outcome? What's my intention? We were just talking about this. But especially in the conversations, because a lot of us are going to be seeing family and relatives and being connected with our community. So, what's my outcome? Am I conversing with this person to persuade? Am I conversing with them just to listen? Do I want to change them? Do I want to connect with them? Am I trying to get a point across? Am I trying to stonewall? It's like, think about it when you're in a conversation. Okay. This is, we need to ask better questions across the board. And don't take that as an insult. I'm just saying this is a high leverage tool because every time a question is formed, an answer exists already in the universe. So, a good question to ask yourself, whether it's internally in a conversation or externally with the person, hey, if we were celebrating this conversation a year from now, what would this look like? If we were celebrating our relationship a year from now, what does our relationship look like? And if we're not trying to work together, man, we're not supposed to be talking. We should just shh. Did you guys know if you take your top lip and your bottom lip and you hold it there like this, you'll shut the fuck up. And I didn't know that. And that blew my mind, fam. Anyway, Saturday night, that's when Mercury stations. It's the same day where Venus goes into Sagittarius, guys. So I'm telling you, man, that this weekend, it seems like everything's going down and we're going to be putting things into place. Venus in Sagittarius is the love of the adventure, it's a love of freedom, it's the search for meaning as well. On one note, it might not be that deep for a lot of people. It might just be about, I'm trying to have as much fun as I possibly can. Trying to get wild, trying to get rowdy. Make it make sense. Do enjoy your life, but make it make sense. Everything in moderation, even moderation. And then you got Venus and Mars going together. So there's passion, there's intensity in the air. It's kind of crazy stuff. So another thing I want to talk about, because I like to aim for these videos to be about 25 minutes or so. Lilith. Let's point our attention to Black Moon Lilith. This is obscure and it's a mystery for many of us, but the moon's apogee, its furthest distance from the planet, reflects a deeper emotional need that we all experience. And it takes about 9 months for Lilith to go through a sign. And she's at the 27th degree of Scorpio, finishing it up. I mean, she'll be at 28 at the end of the week, guys. So these last 9 months or so have been really deep experiences for us, transformative, kind of hell for some of us, man. But I will say, looking back on it, these 8 to 9 months of Lilith and Scorpio have really given us a deeper connection with our sense of personal power and autonomy. Sexuality is another thing that Lilith and Scorpio brings up. And I see that a lot of us are reclaiming our power. And this is kind of a divine feminine uprising. Saturn goes direct this week. And this is really about getting that steamboat moving down the fucking river, man. Or a battleship, I should say, because, sometimes boats take a long time to turn, but once we're in our right direction, we're treading water. Hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. It kind of was a train wreck at the beginning, but just understand, guys, perfect can't be the enemy of good. You don't necessarily get edits in life, so just show up and give it your best effort. Fire family, I love you. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.